Hello and welcome to the Inner Gamer Next, where we play a video game and figure out if it should or shouldn't be next up on your video game playlist. Today we'll be talking about the Apple Arcade subscription. And today, we're doing a slightly different discussion on games. Because I didn't play one game, I didn't play two games, I played 4 games.
Oh my gosh.
In one sitting. Not really at one sitting. In a duration of sittings throughout the week. But there's this new thing that came out with the release of iOS 13, if you're an iPhone user, and it's called Apple Arcade. And we've talked about this a little bit on the podcast in previous times, but basically, Apple is all about subscriptions these days. They want to get everybody in subscriptions because that's like a good baseline for their revenue stream. So they have Apple Music, they have iCloud subscriptions, so you can get your like storage and shit like that. And then they have now Apple Arcade. They have Apple News Plus, which basically gives you unlimited access to magazine subscriptions. And then they're launching Apple TV Plus, which is curated TV that's going to come out this fall. So Apple Arcade is here. It's $4.99 a month. It's one subscription. All you can play, up to 6 family members can run off of it. You can play it on your iPhone, iPad, Mac, and Apple TV. So yes, it does play on Apple TV. I just haven't done that yet.
I got you.
No ads, no additional purchases, no microtransactions, no bullshit. It's private. You can play it online or offline. All that stuff, all for $4.99, and there's access to hundreds of games. So when I first heard about this, I was like, okay, it depends on the game library. It depends on a lot of factors. Are the games going to be a bunch of like bullshit games and stuff like that? I can now say that so far, this is a really, really solid lineup of stuff. Like, this is the cream of the crop mobile gaming, like, across the board. Like, the best mobile games I've ever played so far likely have come out of Apple Arcade, which is pretty crazy. Like,
nice.
This is like Monument Valley level shit and more, and it is awesome. So there's well over 100 games already available. I played through 4 of them. Where Cards Fall, What the Golf, Mini Motorways, and Overland. And all of these are different experiences, different vibes, kind of similar art style. A lot of these people are doing these very minimalistic kind of art style approaches where it's just like solid colors to form different color shades to form dimension and shadow and stuff, as opposed to like real intense 3D graphics and stuff like that. But they all look really good and they're all a lot of fun. So, for example, Where Cards Fall is a puzzle game where you play this little character. It's made by Snowman and the Game Band. And it's a narrative puzzle that's also a compelling coming-of-age story. It's about a hero who navigates the insecurities and emotions of high school and beyond, creating pathways and overcoming obstacles. So you open into this, and you have your little character who has a little vignette, like a little very isolated story where they're doing something, and the voices are all like gibberish, and you see this character interacting with something related to their high school, like maybe they're at an arcade, or maybe they're in class, or maybe they're at home, like hanging out with their sister, or whatever, and like these little vignettes of what's happening, and then they move into this next area, which is now a puzzle world, where you have to get your character up to this card that's on some platform somewhere in the game. And the way you do that is you move around the world, and there's these little decks of cards on the ground. And when you pinch and swipe your finger outward, it expands that card into like a 2x2 block, a 3x3 block, or a 4x4 block, and then pops up and creates a building out of those cards. And then you position those to get to higher tier levels. And then sometimes you get multiple sets of cards you can then stack on each other or reposition different areas to get yourself to the next part of the level. And that's basically the mechanic all throughout the game. And it's genius. It's really, really good and really fun and very simple, and just it's an easy, fun game. I jump in there, play a couple levels, and then move on to the next one, and had a blast. It's so clever and well designed. And like, you open the game, you click start. There's no buy me now. There's no click here to upgrade your shit. There's not even any instructions. You just jump in and you start playing. And you figure it out, and it's really good. I was very impressed.
Yeah, I jumped into Overland.
Yep.
And I've been waiting for that game to come out. Now, I didn't know what I was doing because obviously it doesn't tell you anything.
Dude, yeah, it's confusing.
And I'm like, I think I need to buy this on the PC to play it or something. Hopefully it's coming to the Switch at some point, which I'm sure it is because it's a perfect game for the Switch. And yeah, I mean, there's a crap ton of games in there. I don't know how many they have. They have over, what do you think, 50?
Over 100.
Over 100 games that you can just jump in. I think there's something for everybody. And I think
it's $25 on Steam for Overland.
Yeah.
Definitely worth buying it on freaking Apple Arcade.
Yeah, for $5 a month.
Yeah.
I mean, you could probably beat this game in a month, and then if there's a game you want, you can technically buy it for $5 and then cancel your subscription. So after a month, like you're just done with it.
Yeah, there's no locked contracts or anything. Like you start and stop it whenever you want.
They give you a trial period of how long? Do you know?
A month.
A month? Okay,
Yeah.
perfect.
And then I think if you have another subscription for another service, I forget which one, like you get it for a longer period of time for free. But there's definitely you get it, you can get it longer for a certain thing. But yeah, I mean, otherwise it's $5. Like $5 times 12, that's like what, $50, $60 ish. Did I do my math right? 5 times 12, yeah, $60. So $60. Now I was trying to do math and figure out, is this worth it for a game company? I'm curious longevity. Because these games are inside here. Are they going to be in here for a little bit and then they're going to pull them out and then sell them outright? Is that how it's going to work? Because I feel like it's not sustainable for companies to make money off of this long term.
Yeah, I don't understand these kind of things like that. Like, it just doesn't make sense to me.
I mean, like, say you have somebody paying $60 and then say you have, I don't know, 500,000 users, right? That's $30 million a year you're getting off of 500,000 users. But if you have 100 games in your library, so say there's just 100, divide by 100, that's $300,000 per game a year that they get. But probably Apple's taking a chunk of that because that's what they do. So say they're taking a modest chunk of 20%. Normally I think their library takes 30%. So let's say they're taking 20%. That's $60,000 taken out, so the developer would get $240,000 for a year, which isn't bad, but that's before taxes, before all that stuff. So it's not a huge sum of money for like what could be a 10-person development team. So I'm curious what they're gonna do. That'll be interesting.
Yeah,
I just saw your note and hear about cutting, so that's funny.
Okay.
Yeah, so that'll be an interesting thing. But anyway, other games I want to talk about real quick.
All right.
What the golf? That's a game that we saw at South by Southwest. It's really cool. It is a game in which you are golfing, but instead of golfing with golf balls, you're golfing with like all kinds of objects and physics and stuff like that. So one mission you are golfing with a golf ball. Another mission you're actually golfing with the golf club itself, trying to hit it to the hole. Another mission you're trying to get a dog into the hole. Another mission you're trying to get a couch through the hole. And then all these crazy things. And then there's some missions where it's like you start playing, you're playing it on a vertical screen, and then it like all of a sudden like makes you switch to the side and you have to hold it landscape and then play it that way. And then you have like a sticky ball at some point that like sticks to the wall, so it has a different sense of like hitting over the ledge or whatever. And there's a shit ton of missions in this thing. I've probably played 3 hours of it and I've gone like 15% through maybe. And after you finish each course, there is a par course, so you have to get par on it. Mm-hmm. And then there's a crown course where you have another twist on that same course that maybe you have to kick all the cats off the map instead of hit into the hole. And that gets you, once you do that, then you get a crown. And if you get enough of those crowns in this area, it unlocks a special ability to where you like completely clear that section. And then it gives you a little trinket inside this like world map thing or whatever. And it's good. It's really good.
Awesome,
I've been addicted to it.
Okay. Well, I need to play it then.
Yeah. And then also Mini Motorways.
Okay.
That's a good game too.
All right.
Because that game, you're creating bridges and roads between stores and houses.
Interesting.
So you have a store and then you have a single house and you got to connect the road between the two. And you have only a certain number of roads per day. So you have to place those accordingly to connect them together. And then another house will pop up. And then that house has to connect to the road to then get to the store of the same color. And then another color will come up. And and now you have to connect those roads to those stores to the houses and not intersect with the other roads that you had placed.
Oh, okay. A little puzzle game.
Yeah. And then traffic builds up because you have too many houses going into one road. So then you have to place stoplights or add more roads, but you also have limited roads. But then there's water. So you got to build around the water, or eventually you unlock bridges, but you only get one bridge. So one road has to go over the water on the bridge. The other one has to go around it, and hope you have enough roads before the day ends to get those things connected. Because if you have so many people at a store packed in after a certain amount of time, it'll count down a timer. And then if the timer runs out, then you lose the game. You have to start from zero again.
Oh, wow.
So it's like progressive kind of nature. You just keep on going until you can't go any further and you die. And
you die.
It's a it's a beautiful game. It's like white, like cream colored background. These single colors. It's all flat design. Roads connect. It's very easy to like just connect the roads. There's like a build mode, and then there's like a view mode of like scrolling around the little game world. But it's very small and very focused, and just
that seems cool.
It's awesome. Super cool.
I know what I'm doing at work tomorrow.
Yeah. So I highly recommend everybody go. And if you have an iPhone, just get your 1 month trial for Apple Arcade. Download Where Cards Fall, What the Golf, Mini Motorways, Overland. There's a Frogger game. There's a Rayman game that came out. There's a game from Annapurna that's supposed to be really good. Just a ton of stuff. And
very nice.
I am very, very happy about it.
Very cool, man.
And Google went and announced the same day that this came out that they're launching a $5 per month Play Pass for Android users, which is very similar but not curated. But they have 350 games in their library without ads or in-app purchases.
Yeah.
And they're looking at all that stuff. But the difference is definitely that there's not a curation. Apple Arcade is like exclusive games that are only going to be on Apple Arcade available stuff.
Yeah.
Whereas, I mean, they're available only on mobile through Apple Arcade as opposed to like the regular store.
Right. I think that's the way to do it.
And in Google Play Pass, it's just like well-known apps that already are out, and they're just throwing it into this subscription service. So basically, if you have an Android, you can still get a subscription service and just pay $5 a month and play a bunch of games there too. So,
sorry, Android users.
Yeah, I like Apple Arcade where it's very highly curated and like nice looking games. Like it's the best of the best.
Yeah.
No bullshit in there.
Exactly.
All the reviews are really solid on all these games already. Like people are like, this is the best game I've ever played. And that's pretty impressive.
That's good. Wow.